This is the brand new OBSBOT Meet 2, a more advanced yet affordable 4K webcam that is set to transform your streaming and video calls. Now, this is the smallest webcam I have ever seen. It's crazy just sitting in the palm of my hand, measuring just 2 inches long and weighing only 72 grams, yet this thing delivers incredible 4K resolution at 30 frames per second thanks to its half-inch CMOS sensor and f1.8 aperture. It's available in Cloud White, Space Gray, and Aurora Green, and I went ahead and chose the Cloud White colorway to perfectly match my desk setup. The Meet 2 is powered by USB-C for fast and reliable connectivity, and it includes a magnetic stand that easily attaches to the webcam, allowing you to place it on the top of your monitor for quick and easy setup, and you don't have to worry about your webcam falling off. And if you don't want to use the magnetic stand, it does have your standard tripod screw size, and you can go ahead and mount this to whatever tripod or arm you'd like to. It even comes with a magnetic privacy cover for added security when not in use. Whether you're recording in landscape or vertical mode, the Meet 2 adapts to your needs. But don't let the small form factor fool you. This little camera is jam-packed with a ton of AI features to help with low light scenes and autofocus. Now, if you are a streamer, you're in luck because you can use this thing with third-party softwares like OBS, and you can even connect this with your Stream Deck to control some scenes, which is awesome. Now, when I first saw this and saw the features this little camera had, I just knew, I don't know, man, usually when the tech is really small and jam-packed with a ton of stuff, it's got to be pretty expensive. But I was wrong. This camera is only going to cost you $129, which is probably the best priced webcam I've seen in this space with this many amazing features. And if you do want to pick one up, I'll have everything linked down below in the video description. Before all that, let's go ahead and dive in to really see what this webcam can do. Okay, so now I got the webcam all plugged in. It was super simple. You just literally plug and play. I threw it on the magnetic base here, downloaded the OBSBOT Center app, and we are good to go. Now, I'm going to be showing you all the recordings in a moment here directly from the webcam itself. But right now, this is just a preview that I'm showing you so you can see some of the quick settings you could do through the application, because there's a ton of AI that's built into this camera that helps make everything just look so clear and crisp. So real quick, this is 1080p 30 out of the box. Now, if you click the gear down here, you're gonna notice there's a bunch of different resolutions you can change from as low as 720p to 4K 30. Here you have recording bitrate, and you can choose high or low. Recording at a high bitrate demands more computer performance, which could lead to video stuttering if your system isn't up to the task. If you have an older laptop or PC and you experience this, just go ahead and select low to ensure smooth and high quality recordings without performance issues. I have a higher end PC, I threw mine on high, and then you have a multiple, recording formats you can choose. MP4, your file location, you're good to go. Now, this is stock out of the box, 1080p 30, we can go up to 4K 30. I will show you 1080p 60 and 4K 30 in a moment, and then I will note, if you notice right now, there's a bunch of RGB lights here on the background, and RGB lighting is kind of difficult to record anything with, but this camera off the rip at 1080p 30 is doing a solid job, just by, just look at the preview. Now, also, I will be turning the lights off and leaving one key light on here, and you will get to see what that looks like in low light compensation, which I think the camera absolutely just is a home run with. Now, it also has dual omnidirectional microphones built into it, but right now I'm using my own microphone, and I'll touch base on that in a moment as well. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into some of the more details here. You notice through the OBSBOT Center application, you have a ton of things you can do. You have console, where you could shoot from, wide, medium to narrow, and then you could also do auto framing on this thing, where it will just go to your upper body. You could do close-ups on yourself if you like, which is really huge, and you can fine-tune it. Again, you could just really choose how far you want to go in. This is on the preview, which is nuts, and I like to film wide. And then on the image here is where you're really going to have some, of that fine tuning. You have everything from auto exposure. You have auto exposure mode, which is, you'll see here, global and face. Face is just mine. If you set it to global, it's going to do a really good job of auto focusing everything in the background, especially if you have multiple people on the camera with you. It will do a really good job using the AI to keep everyone's face in focus, which is huge. We also have a compensation button here. Then we have anti-flicker, 50 hertz, 60 hertz. Maybe you have a monitor that's a little bit older. It's causing some, issues with, light being picked up on the camera, or maybe some of the RGB lights in the background. Right now, they all look pretty smooth. Depending on what you need to do, you can go ahead and set your anti-flicker hertz, right? We have white balance as well. I have it set to auto right now, and I think it looks okay at 1080p 30 just through the preview. Then you have contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hue. This is where you can really fine tune everything to really get the best picture quality. Again, it also depends on the setting that you're in and maybe your skin tone and all these things, lighting. You go ahead and play with that and you'll get the best settings for your camera. And then we have auto sleep mode. You can set how long you want this camera to, stay awake for. Backgrounds, audio. You have microphone status during sleep, noise reduction, automatic gain control, disable your microphone. This is all for the omnidirectional mic, which I'll touch on a little bit later. You could also mirror the image, and we have a brightness and so on and so forth. Also, again, touching on that AI, they have something here called like a beauty filter, almost like a little Snapchat thing going on. You could do everything from setting the bokeh in the background. If you want that nice blurry background, we can go ahead and set that up. You have blur levels all the way up to 6, that's a little nuts. Again, you can set that however you want to. Then you have retouch, where you can do custom tone, smooth, clarify, slim your face out, which I could probably use. Whoa, like a little child there, kind of Ozempic me. Again, there's automatic ones that are already built into the app as well. And then there's a ton of different filters that you could throw on. So there's a lot of things you could do with this camera. But let's go ahead now and record directly off the camera, and you can see just how well this thing performs. Okay, so here's the camera in 1080p 60. Now I have autofocus on, I have auto exposure on, and I haven't done anything to the contrast saturation. Everything is all stock. And I think I look pretty good. It's doing a good job with the skin tones here. The colors of my shirt, it does look like a deep black here. The background is very vibrant with colors, but it's missing some of the finer details here. It looks a little pixelated back there. But again, this is really good for a webcam, and that background is kind of far from me. Now, 1080p 60, I'm a little bit further back. The AI is doing a good job of keeping me, focused and in here. If I back up, I come forward, you can see the camera doing its job here. The AI is getting it set. Now, when you do go to shut the camera here with my hand, you do notice that the color isn't changing. Sometimes you might get a weird thing with webcams where it kind of gets dark for a moment and it kind of has a problem with the auto exposure, but this is doing a very, very good job of keeping everything, not only focused, but the lighting as well. Now, motion is huge with webcams. When you're moving around or you're talking, maybe you might look like you're out of sync, or you get some crazy blur or kind of a lag effect. You don't have that with this camera at all. Like literally 1080p 60, this looks really good. Now let's go ahead and jump over to the 4K. Okay, so here's the camera in 4K 30, and I see a huge difference off the rip. The background especially looks so much more fine-tuned and in detail. You could actually see some of the statues' faces. You could see the Gengars, maybe even read some of the Pokemon words back there on the Gengar. It looks really awesome, and that camera's pretty far away considering where the background is. It's doing a good job, especially with depth of field here. Like, I'm in the center, that's still behind me, but still also kind of in focus, which is really insane for this little webcam. The skin tones look good. The colors look pretty decent for how vibrant this room really is right now. And again, I haven't changed anything when it comes to contrast and all that stuff here. The camera is doing a real good job again with the AI. If I throw my hand up here, it's keeping me in focus, or at least snapping right back to me, which is huge. I can sit back pretty far here and it's still keeping me in focus without having this thing like this. I'm pretty far back and it's still doing a good job to keep me in focus here with the background and everything, which is really, really crazy. Now, this camera also has HDR mode. Let me just wheel back over you guys here. Hold on, there we go. Okay, HDR mode is on now, and this might actually benefit me with all the lights on in the background. You could really get a little bit more vibrancy. Again, if I fine tune this, I could probably even make it look better, but this is with the HDR mode on, and it looks really sweet. Now, here's where the camera, I think, really shines, especially in low light mode. Let's go ahead and turn all lights off here in the studio space and just leave one key light on. Here is the camera with all the lights off and just one tiny key light on here in the corner. And this is 1080p 60. I think it looks pretty good. It's doing a really good job of keeping me well in frame and well illuminated as well. And what I do like about the camera is there's something under the auto exposure mode called compensation, right? Here's where I think the camera also shines. You could definitely tweak this. You could lower it depending on how low you want to go. You could even crank this all the way up here to get things to be really bright. So no matter how dark an area is, you could definitely use whatever little bit of light you have and have the camera kind of work with you here as I change it here back and forth. Okay, here's 4K 30. Nothing has been changed. I just took a little bit brighter and again, more finer details, which is to be expected. And I think it looks really good. Playing with the compensation, I wouldn't go down too far, maybe -0.3. And I think this looks pretty money. I mean, again, the camera does a good job. What I do like about it is, when I come in close, it still keeps my face illuminated, but maybe darkens the background. It does a really good job of keeping my face well lit at all times. Okay, so here's 1080p 60 with nothing but just a ceiling light on, a more natural lighting scene that you would probably find in a home office or an office space in general, which I feel like most people taking Zoom calls will probably be using and kind of seeing. So this is what you're seeing here with 1080p 60. I think the camera does a pretty good job here, but let's go ahead and jump over to the 4K 30. Okay, so here's 4K 30 with that natural lighting again, probably something you'd be doing more likely on a Zoom call or an office meeting, and I think it looks really good. Things look a little bit brighter here, the colors maintain accurate as well as more detail in the background. Even my skin tone colors again look really good. The autofocus is still money here and no issues with shadowing or any kind of blurriness here. It looks really good. But I have one more test. I want to go ahead and pair this up with a video game in the background and do a little streaming while using this camera. Okay, so here's the camera while playing some games in the background and streaming real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump around here to see just how well the camera performs. The color, everything looks good, the accuracy looks good, but I wanna see if there's any lag or stuttering while there's, some taxing being done on the PC itself while I'm using this camera to stream. So let's just go ahead and click someone to run around with, like Tracer or something. Maybe not. Now I'm Reinhardt. All right, look, whatever.
One. Keep your sight.
Let's see here.
Oh, this armor really needs more.
He's gonna hate me after this tutorial. But yeah, so far everything looks good. The camera doesn't seem to be stuttering on my end. Gotta jump around a lot here and just get some crazy stuff going. Hopefully the camera's holding up. So far on my end over here, the preview looks good. What do you think? Any lag? Motion? Looks good? Okay, now I'm using the omnidirectional microphones that are built into the webcam itself. I have the noise reduction on strong and the automatic gain control checked on as well. I think the AI is doing a really good job here of, picking up my voice. I'm in a large room. I sound really clear and really crisp. And if you're in a meeting someplace, there might be a lot of people in the background. Who knows what situation you're stuck in. You'll always be able to hear my voice, which I think is really awesome, which comes in clutch when you have to use a webcam microphone. Well, that's my take on the OBSBOT Meet 2. I'm curious your thoughts on this camera. If you want to pick one up, it's going to be linked down below in the video description like always. Again, $129 price point, which I think is crazy cheap for how much power we're getting in such a little compact camera. This thing will be staying around my studio space for quite some time. I will be using this whenever I stream because, again, it's minimal, it's away, you don't really notice it, and it's still delivering some really awesome stuff here. Honestly, I just want to pick you guys up. Let me pick you up right now. Here we go. There you are. There we go. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I did open the membership program as well. I started the $1 club. If you guys want to join for $1 for some cool emojis in chat, always appreciated. But that's it for me. Most importantly, you guys stay safe out there. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.